Hello everyone, welcome, and I'd like to talk to you today again about some Revit tutorials. This is Zach Geisler, and I'm going to talk today about um, creating a ceiling and then creating a reflected ceiling plan or an RCP. So as you can see here, I have my 3D model that I've used in some of my past videos. I've created a couple roofs here and things like that. And so if this was your project, you'd have this all done. And so what I like to do is I like to go down here and click this section box button. Brings up this section box here, and what we can do is I'm going to just focus on this first building here with the gable roof on it. I'm going to bring this section box over, and I'm going to break that off. And as you can see, it hides the rest of the project. So then I'm going to kind of tilt it up a little bit so that way I can see it from the side. Then I'm going to grab this top and bring it down just so it's below the roof line. So then you can flip it up, and if you hold shift here, you can flip it up and you can kind of see inside your building. Okay, so that's great right now. So then I'm going to go here and I'm going to click on my level 1 plan. Excuse me. Click on my level 1 plan, and as you can see, I got floors in here, I got walls, I got a little bit of furniture and components. Then so to create a ceiling, what you need to do is head back to the architecture tab. There's a tab right here for ceiling under the build tools. Obviously that's how you create your ceiling. So I'm going to hit the ceiling, and again, like always, you have your properties palette here that has multiple items you can choose from. You have a 2x2 ACT system, or a 2x4, or gypsum board on no stud, I believe is what JWB stands for. Gypsum wallboard, yeah. And then, or just a generic basic ceiling. So I'm going to keep it on the 2x4, but you got a couple options there, and if you want to dive in that more, you can figure out more. And then up here in the modify tab, it's got two ways you can do this, and I'll show you both ways. First way is the automatic ceiling, which if you have that, it already automatically has selected for you. But what you do is you go around the room you want it to be in, and it'll highlight the interior of that room with red. So let's just do this top left quadrant, and I click that, and it comes with this notice here at the bottom saying none of the created elements are visible in floor plan 1 view, and that's fine, but it still created a ceiling. So to prove that, I'm just going to go back to my 3D view. And as you can see here, on that top left quadrant, I have a ceiling in there. So there it is. So it did that. Back to level 1 view. It doesn't show up in here. You can adjust some settings to make it show up, but for this purpose, you don't really need to show up. You just need to know that it's there. You have a ceiling there, and you can adjust that to whatever you want to be later. Now for the next step, I'm going to go back to ceiling and do the sketch ceiling. And this you should be familiar with, but you have your modify tab again opened, and you have multiple things you could do this again with. Like you have just your regular line tool, your rectangular, and if you had some circular or different type rooms, you could do that, and curves and whatnot. But for this purpose, I'm going to go back to my favorite, and what I feel is the simplest and easiest way to do it is the pick wall tools. I'm going to click that. So therefore, I'm going to pick that wall, this wall, this wall, this wall. If I'm going to do the top right quadrant, my ceiling, and it obviously picked the whole wall, and you don't really need all that. I mean, if you want to do the whole thing, you could, but most ceilings are built inside each room. So to fix that, I'm going to use the trim tool here, and I'm just going to trim the corners, make sure they're all trimmed up there. So they're all touching, all great. Go back to make sure it's my 2x4 again, and you can also set the height of it. It's 8 foot. You can do this for the other one. You can do 8 foot. You can do whatever you want. And then this box is important too. It's room bounding. So if you want it to stay with that room, you click that button. If you want to be able to move it without being attached to the room, you can uncheck that. But for this purpose, you don't need to worry about anything else, and you can click the check mark. Now it shows up. Didn't come with a warning this time, but as you can see on the 3D view, it is there. Okay. So that is it for this video. On the next video I'm going to show a little bit about what a reflected ceiling plan can do and how to access those and create them and things like that. But here's my ceilings. That's how you build them, and to do this you just continue to build them along this whole building. And so that's all I got for this video today. I'll talk to you later.